To lead the Skol chant and sound the Yaller horn, please welcome the 31st Adjutant General of the Minnesota National Guard, Major General John Jensen.
Well, hello, this is John Randall, Minnesota Vikings legend, and it is my pleasure to say, Minnesota Vikings fans uncensored, are you ready? Keith, get your people up. Let's go. Skol, 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 baby. Let's go.
Let's go, fellas. Skol, Leonard. Hello to all four of you.
Oh.
Well, guys, the season's underway.
Yes.
Our ferry broken. We're in 2024. We've been saved by St. Sam.
St. Sam.
Slinging D. Arnold.
Boy.
Those and D's. So, anything good happened to you guys besides David's ear?
Don't look at my ear.
I'm going to be looking at that ear all damn night, David.
For those of you who don't know, I've got a very swollen earlobe today. Went on my daily constitutional walk and got whacked by some hornets, one of which happened to catch my earlobe. So I have an extra large earlobe today, for those of you who are wondering.
Whatever you do, do not do the whole Austin Powers thing where he's staring at the mold. It's mold. It's mold. Cody, that's a mighty interesting backdrop you got there, buddy.
What, St. Sammy? Look at that.
St. Sammy.
St. Sammy slinging D's, old Leonard says on the chat. Yeah, I'm so this weekend after the game and during this week, I was contemplating on giving Sam Darnold a chance finally. And that's all I thought about. It's like I didn't like him. I still kind of don't like him. But you got to give the man a chance. So
fair enough. Skol, Travis.
Travis, how you doing?
Shaq, lay some wisdom on us, please.
Well, this weekend, well, last week I should say, I finally took my car to the shop to see all the damages. Trying to get it back on the road. Luckily, having a backup car allows you to let the mechanic take his time. Yeah, procrastination on my part, but let the mechanic take a full look at what's going on.
$1,200. I'm gonna AB that, which means I'm gonna drive my point A to point B car for a little while I marinate on that price. Come back to me when you get your sense back, Mr. Mechanic.
Make sure he checks your muffler fluid and the Finnegan pin.
Yep, and your blinker fluid.
Yep.
All that.
Make sure he checks your
Welcome,
flux capacitor
Captain.
too. You don't want a bad flux capacitor.
Yeah.
exhaust samples.
I won't be able to go back in time.
Oh, Steady making an early appearance. Skol, Steady.
Steady life. More
Steady.
blessings.
I have not seen a Tales of the Wilfs post in forever, dude.
Yeah, Steady, what's up with that? You haven't been hanging out with Ziggy lately. We need one of those.
They were good.
I want to know how you felt after the first week. I want to know what that was like.
I'm concerned about whether or not you have enough bourbon.
Mm.
All right. Well, welcome everybody who's already here. We got, the Giants recap to go through. We're going to check out what the rest of the division did. We're going to preview the 49ers game, and we're going to give our hot takes. But at first, there was something that I saw in the group that I wanted to bring to the table here. I thought it was a pretty good post, a pretty good question. And I wanted to ask you guys it. It was, what's one player, or who is one player that you wish was a Viking for longer than they were? So, Ronaldo, you got one?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna steal everybody's because I think 2001.
Chris Hovan?
Robert Smith. Robert Smith is like the chalk one on that. He had some juice left in that tank, and I don't think we would have had a. Was he there for 31 donut or 48 donut, whatever it was?
That was his last one. That was his last game.
There was more in the tank, man. I wanted to see Robert hang out there. I guess I would have quit too if after that game, but.
Yeah, that's like kind of all fell apart. Like, he quit, and then that's when John Randall went to the Saints. I mean, to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Like, that was just like a kind of a bummer, kind of an end of an era. And what about you, Cody? Who do you wish was a Viking a little longer than they were?
Percy Harvin, I would have to say. I think just because I don't was he never 1,000 yards for us, right? But he could have been if he would have stayed a little longer past that rookie contract. I think we cut him loose too early. We didn't see what he could put out there. That's why I have him. People say it all the time as my Viking. I'll say Vikings bust. I mean, he did things that were good for us, but they weren't what we were expecting to have as a first round pick, like that 1,000-yard receiver year in year out. It was Sidney Rice was the guy when he was here, and Sidney Rice is like a mid round pick. So. I wish we had Percy Harvin a little longer just so we can see his full potential, his full ceiling.
Yeah.
That's actually a good one, Cody, because, I do wish we could have got to see a little more of him. And now it's a full circle moment with you and Percy Harvin kind of bury the hatchet. What about
Leonard
you, Shaq?
pulling the heartstrings with Corey Stringer.
Mm-hmm.
I think Percy would have stayed longer if Christian Ponder wasn't his quarterback. After seeing him in practice, he was like, yeah.
That's possible. Yeah. That's possible.
Yeah, it's over for this shit. And then he wasn't getting along with Leslie Frazier. But for me, I'll say it would have to be Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh,
I feel like if Teddy knee never got hurt, we would never went through the whole fiasco with Kirk Cousins. Yeah, we would have never had that Minneapolis miracle with Case Keenum. But I would sacrifice that to not sign Kirk Cousins and see what we would have had. Because at that time, we would have had cap space and we could have built around a rookie quarterback like we're trying to do now. So, I think Teddy was in his third year, so we wasn't really paying nobody. And we could have, signed some free agents and maneuvered in the draft differently. And he was showing promise at the time.
He was. I think he had it was a preseason game against the Chargers that season. I think it was the week before he got hurt, and he was just kind of balling out. And we kind of we're all watching it, okay, this is going to be the season for Teddy. And I think it was after that game that week when the injury happened.
Yep,
that was a damn shame.
I think we still have Mike Zimmer as our coach if we kept Teddy.
We might.
We might, because that's what started all the rifts was the quarterback. First with signing Kirk, and then with drafting Kellen Mond. That was the riff, or the major one. What about you, Fish? Who do you wish was a Viking a little longer?
I'm going back to my favorite football player of all time, Mr. Warren Moon.
I knew it.
The prettiest deep ball in the history of the NFL, and I still think, because he was still playing in '98. That if he would have been behind center on that 98 team throwing to the 3 deep, I'm not saying, that there's a lot of room for improvement, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of room for improvement. And I would have loved to have seen my man, my favorite football player of all time, throwing the ball to rookie Randy Moss.
Oh, that's a good one. Kind of segues too, because mine is a guy who did play for us for 7 years. He even came back to us a little bit later, but that was just a freaking tease. And mine's Randy Moss. The 7 years, that wasn't enough. Randy Moss is the type of player that I wish was a Viking for his whole career. Randy Moss was ours. And I think he's kind of come back to us in retirement, but it hurts seeing him go to the Raiders and like kind of having that downtime. And then it hurts seeing him go to the Patriots and having the high times. Like Randy Moss was our guy. And I think he still sees himself as a Viking in his post career, but I really wish we just got his whole career with us. And that's the one that bums me out the most. Like that's probably the most I ever got bummed out when a player got traded or released or anything like that. So yeah, we did have him for 7.5 years, but it still wasn't enough for me.
I
gotta ask you, Keith, how hard was it to choose Randy Moss over Case Keenum?
You know, I totally fucked up because I was going to do the whole Jerry Maguire. Not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do. Totally missed that one.
He was going to choose Case Keenum.
I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, he's last. He's going to Case
you know
Keenum.
We didn't talk about this before the show, so if one of you would have taken Randy Moss, Case Keenum was my backup.
There you go.
Oh, I know he was sitting right there in your hip pocket.
He was sitting there. I was like, is Shaq going to do it? No. Fish going to do it?
I have a feeling he was like a game time decision. Like you were sitting there like, do I?
We might have one more to get through.
What up, Drago?
Oh, shit.
What up?
Sorry, back-to-back weeks.
I'm a little late to the party here. What were we talking? Favorite Vikes ever?
No. What's one Viking that you wish was a Viking a little bit longer than they were? Like their Viking career was too short. You wish you could have seen them more.
Fuck, that's a tough one. Laquan Treadwell.
Oh, man.
Somebody actually said that in the chat.
No way.
I mean, they were probably joking just as much as you were.
Yeah, that pressure's a little too
joking.
much for me. I gotta think about that one.
Ooh, Travis, that's a good one. That's a
I'm gonna
good
say
one.
Bradford, man.
That's a good one.
Bradford?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I saw enough of him, but why Bradford?
Just that one game before he got severely injured or whatever, I just had that feeling like, oh man, he's gonna fucking light it up this year. And then it was like, oh, he's done for the season. Never mind.
Yeah, that was a good game against the Saints, and that was the Adrian Peterson comeback game, and Dalvin Cook taking the torch away from him. That was actually a really fun game.
Just the vibe of it, I just got this feeling like, oh man, he's gonna have a crazy year. And of course, the injury happened.
Glass knee Bradford was always a
mystery.
Let me throw out a couple of Skols to Alex and Jason.
You know what's funny about the Bradford thing? Bradford was getting killed the season before, and he kept getting back up. I'm like, they kept saying, oh, he's injury prone, he's injury prone. That year when we went 5-0, he was getting hit like a lot. And then next year, going to go play the Saints, he didn't look hurt at all. Week 2, Sam Bradford is going to be out. Knee issues.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Because we didn't see anything in the game to show that he was injured, but all of a sudden he's not going to play week 2. And I'm like, so we got to play with Case Keenum? What kind of shit is this? Season's over.
Yeah.
But see, I'm an open-minded guy, man. Like I can change my opinion on something when I see the facts.
Well, he might have won you over a little bit too.
A little bit.
I would have been okay if we knew, Sam Bradford got hurt, like how we knew Kirk Cousins got hurt. But it's like out of nowhere. Case Keenum is a starting quarterback.
So you feel the same way about J.J. McCarthy this year?
Pretty much. So
I was just gonna say, yeah, shades of McCarthy Bradford there.
What do you mean his knees hurt? What do you mean he tore his meniscus? When did that happen?
Against Alabama? What?
Yeah.
That's why you said a year of development. He's going to sit a year for development.
Yeah.
He's got torn MCL. You don't want to say the truth.
All right. Well, we had a little bit of news. Harrison Phillips signed an extension, adds 2 more years to his one that he's playing on now. So he'll be with us for this season and 2 more. It's a $19 million extension with $13 million guaranteed. He's 28 right now. Will be 30 in his final year. What do you guys think about that? Was that a good move, Cody?
Yeah, I think it was a good move. I think he's like this. He's a huge veteran presence. He's like big team guy, big captain guy on there. People look at him as if, hey, this is the guy that leads our defense with Harrison Smith in the back. He leads that front 3, or how you want to go into it. I like the deal also because there's not much on the market, right? And we were sitting at with the TJ Hawkins thing, we were sitting at $7 million in cap space. So re-signing him in case the other big teams that have more cap space next year steal up the defensive tackles, which there's not going to be many because all of them were signed this year. I think it was a really good move, and plus he played pretty well against the Giants last week. I thought so.
That one play really stood out for me where he was moving along the line from the center all the way, and he blocked the pass like he's going shuffling down the line. So that was a nice play. Did you like the signing?
I love the signing. If you listen to the KOC interview, he played over 1,000 snaps last year out of necessity, and KOC kind of said, "Hey, we don't expect him to play 1,000 snaps. What we really want to do is get him more like maybe 700 snaps and get the better version of him, the best version of him, and put him in situations where he can actually win." I think we're going to see a little bit. I think he's going to pop a little bit more, especially towards the end of the season. If everybody around him stays healthy, I think it's a really good signing. I think it was cheap, to Cody's point. And the guy, he'll be 30, 31 by the time the contract ends. But for a middle of the line guy, that's not really that old for that kind of a player. It's not super athletic. I mean, it can be. And Flores, just to add on to what KOC said, Flores said that the dude is improved tremendously in getting some push in the middle, which is something we need. You put him next to somebody else that pushes next year, maybe that could be pretty daunting. So I like to see the best version of him and find some push out of him. I think it's all good stuff. And let's face it, the dude was man of the year last year, right? He was the Vikings man of the year. So he's ingrained. He's a Minnesotan, sort of like a transfer, and I think it's positive.
Right, I agree, and it was a good deal. Like $9.5 million per year, that would put him at the 34th highest paid interior defensive lineman this season. So, I think he's better than the 34th best one. Like, there's a lot of old dudes on that list that are getting paid more money than him. So, yeah, I think it was a good signing. But I got to ask somebody who's been a little more critical over him if he's won him over a little bit. Fish.
Oh, that big old teddy bear, that disarming you with a smile and getting on the mic. It's a good value, guys. I mean, what did Dalvin Tomlinson sign for a year or two ago? Wasn't it like $17 million a year?
Something like that, yeah.
It's a good value, and I am ecstatic about the ability for the next 3 years to be able to say, there's Harrison Phillips, one play of the game. Right, Shaq? Right, Shaq?
That was you, Fish. And you'd point out every time, there's the tackle. There it is.
There's his one play. Skol, Lucy.
What's up, Lucy? Hi, Lucy. How you doing, Lucy?
Oh, Lucy.
You look great on camera, Lucy.
It's good. Lucy. Hey, Lucy, David's got a really big earlobe. But his wife got a little rough biting his ear.
Whoa. Not that kind of joke.
I mean, listen, for the money, it's right. It still leaves us room to be able to get somebody like who was it? David, was it you that said put somebody next to him they could push? And yes. So, okay, he's a nice little additional piece. On that side. Get somebody in the center they can have some up the middle push. And yeah, I'll be really happy. We'll be on to something.
All right. Well, I'm happy with it. Shaka Dragos, you got anything to add to this?
I was just going to say, like, it's sometimes it's kind of hard to see what's going on in the trenches because you're kind of trying to see what's going on in the backfield there. But every time I looked, it seemed like he was making a play or was involved in the play or taking on his block and dominating his block every time I looked on the line in the last game. So I almost think he got his contract based off of this last game. He played a hell of a game. So I'm happy with it. And I think what was it, like 13 guaranteed?
13 guaranteed up
yeah,
the 19 million. So
can't be mad at that.
I almost wonder if they're gonna sneak some of his money he's getting paid this year into those years. I wonder if there's another move coming. What do you think, Shaq?
Yeah, I have to agree with Cody. It's he provides that veteran leadership for our defensive line because our team, besides Gilmore, we don't really have that many veteran leaders who've been on the team for longer than 2 years.
True. That's true.
So, he provides that veteran depth for the D-line. Yeah, we get on him because he doesn't, provide those wild plays like a Chris Jones or Aaron Donald, but he provides quality service, and we're not paying him a lot. So it kind of shows me that, KOC and Flores and Kwesi has a idea of how they want to shape this defense, and they like the role model that Harrison Phillips is providing on the field and off the field.
So it seems like it's unanimous. We're all pretty happy with the signing. Awesome. Let's get to this Giants game where the Vikings defeated the Giants 28-10 to go 1-0. Good feeling, right? It's the first time that the Vikings have won a game by 17 or more points since 2019. We've gone 4 full seasons without beating a team by 3 scores. Every other team in the NFL has done it at least 3 times. Half the teams in the NFL have done it 10 times. You got teams that have done it 20 times in that time period. Like, Rinaldi, when you're hearing that, like, how does that make you feel, like that every single team has done it 3 times and we haven't been able to do it once?
It makes me feel like I want to vomit, but I mostly because even last week we talked about it. I would have guessed that the average score win was like 7 or 8 or 2 or 3 points, and it was like 8 or 9. We're so conditioned to just like be a 1-score game that it almost seems normal. And then when I saw those numbers, I'm like, what on earth are we actually doing on this team? So look, taking out the Giants like that made me feel pretty good after seeing these scores. So there's a silver lining to the whole thing, but I'd like to see more of it. How about that?
Definitely. Cody, how'd you feel like really hearing that we haven't done this since 2019? Like, it's pretty much been 1-score games that we've been winning.
I mean, just look at our record. Like, I wonder what our average record is. Probably like mid, like 7-8 wins. That's probably like, if you'd average our records out, that's where we'd be sitting at. I think,
right, but we had a 13-win season and didn't have one 17-point win.
That's troublesome to know that, and we lose to the Giants in the playoffs. Like, I mean, you could almost. I bet the lines in that game for betting wise were just smashing Giants because they seen our DVOA and our point differential, right? But I think it kind of looks like our record has been. You know, we're like this mid team, and doesn't matter who we play, it's going to be a close game because as a mid team, that's what you are, right? This year, I have us at 7 wins, and then watching us win by more than the 17, I'm bump it up to 9, 10.
Oh. There you go. You got him to 10, Keith. You got him to 10.
You did it.
He said maybe 10, but he's up to 9, so I'm happy with that. I think if we beat the Niners, he might be up to like 12 or 13, though.
Cody's soft.
I still got the purple Kool-Aid in the freezer for you, Cody.
Hold on. Sam Darnold is our quarterback still, so let's calm the noise.
That would be Saint Sam.
I mean, you got him at your background, bro. How are you going to calm the noise? You're bringing the noise.
I just have to do it, right? I still wear my McCarthy jerseys on Sunday.
That's it, buddy.
Thoughts and prayers. Anybody else have any thoughts on this being our first time in almost 5 years that we've had a 17-point victory?
The great news is that while we haven't had any 17-point victories in that time frame, we've had plenty of more than 17-point losses. So that's balance.
Yeah.
We're starting to tip the scale, I guess.
13-win season consisted of what? 11 1-score wins and 141-3 blowout to make our point differential be so small. So yeah, Skol, Robbie. We play down to our competition, and sometimes we play up to our competition, and sometimes we don't. But we always manage to play down to them. And this game against the Giants was just a simple. It wasn't exciting. It was just a simple, consistent, execute better, play better in all facets of the game, and take advantage of mistakes. It was a good game.
It was a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was. I think Robbie said it earlier in the chat. Like, it was one of those ones where we didn't have to stress out. Like, you could actually have sat down this whole game. Haven't had that in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had that thought during the game. Like, man, I haven't felt this feeling in a long time where I'm not like about to hyperventilate and got to get a paper bag and shit. Like, and I think it comes down to a lot of things, especially Darnold being clean in the pocket almost the entire game. I think he was pressured just a handful of times. The defense was just phenomenal. We haven't seen when's the last time we held the other team to 6 points? I want to hear
Raiders.
someone pull that.
The Raider game that Ronaldo was at when we held him to 0.
Okay, I mean,
But we only scored 3.
How often does that happen? You know what I mean?
It doesn't. We don't hold teams. I mean, rarely does anybody hold a team to not getting a touchdown. So I don't care who you're playing.
I think there's another level of comfort with the kicker that I'm just so weird. Like when the kicker comes up to kick, I'm not going like, oh shit, here we go again. You know,
I don't think I watched one extra point. I went to the bathroom. Like I just felt confident. It wasn't Greg Joseph. I was like, all right, I still got to be standing and watching. I went to the bathroom. I went and grabbed the beer. Like that's what you're supposed to do on an extra point.
There's a weird sense of comfort actually being up by more than 2 touchdowns. I love the feeling, and I think it has more to do with just overall play of the team. Flores' defense, like I feel pretty good about even the Niners this coming up week on defense. So it's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's starting to get the hope, the one I think we all try to protect ourselves against, but they reel us in. That's what happens. They reel us in. It doesn't take much for us to get reeled in. Like honestly, it doesn't. We could protect ourselves all off season and say we're not going to do it, not going to do it, not going to do it. But then they go out and have a game like this against the Giants. But damn it, I'm back in.
Laws.
Make sure they remind me to buy back once I get fucked. That's all I care about.
You're gonna get flammed.
Flammed.
9:30.
You got anything on this, Shaq?
I feel like this is the first time in a long time that this team actually feel like a complete team, where we're not just relying on one player to win us the game. We showed up on all facets. Offense, defense, special teams all did their thing. And I don't think we had a lot of penalties, so that's another good thing.
Wrong. We had 7.
Yeah, we had a lot. Yeah, we had.
It just didn't feel like a lot. The Giants had more.
Penalties that we deserve, because it was some questionable penalties, like that one of Christian Darrisaw when they say he was holding.
Nice pick.
Oh yeah, it's dog shit.
I'm like, huh? But it was a solid, clean game.
There's a lot to clean up, in my opinion. It felt really good, but I think there's a lot to clean up. The 2 turnovers, maybe one.
Somebody's got to be this guy.
Turnover.
Somebody's got to be this guy.
Well, we're good.
I'm going to do it.
I'm telling you, we can't
get a chance to.
Turnovers.
I'm glad you reminded me. I forgot about that turnover. I'll be honest. I knew we was about to lose that game after the first turnover. I'm like, damn, they already in the red zone.
They're
already in the red zone.
We also lost time of possession again, too. We cannot let that happen against San Francisco, brother. We cannot let that happen against San Francisco.
So we just got to not score?
No.
One mistake. That's all it takes.
So Shaq was saying that it didn't come down to one play, but Fish, if it did come down to one play, let's jump into Fish's catch.
All right, we're back, baby. We are back.
Remind the people what it is.
For the 16 of you watching, during the regular season, we like to do a thing after every game called Fish's Catch. And what I do is I go through, I watch the game, I rewatch the game. I might all 22 it a little bit. And the whole point is to find one play that changed the complexion of the game. Some definitive play where it was everything that made for a turning point in the game. And here's the thing, right? This game was tough because we were in command from whistle to whistle, bell to bell. It was Vikings out in front of the Giants. I think they scored a field goal first, and then we were just off and running and beating them. So I would have loved to have picked the Van Ginkel pick 6. It was really there, but I'm going to go with the Naylor touchdown. And here's why. Because of everything we were just talking about, we can't put a team away. It's always close. There's always anxiety. We never just put the dagger in and end the game early and make it so that way we can just relax and enjoy the rest. And that 21-yard throw to Naylor for a touchdown put us up by 21-6, I think it was, on the first drive of the third quarter, and made them one-dimensional and took their running game out of their playbook and allowed for things like the Van Ginkel play. And that's why that's my catch. What a nice throw. Look at that catch and go. Bam. And there's our wide receiver 3, everybody.
So much better than Osborne.
Yeah. The play call was gnarly. Like, he's sending that running back out there or that motion out there, sinking those two defenders down.
Let's take a look at this route he runs. This is just beautiful. The whole play is just beautiful. Oh, I'm going to block for the screen. No, I'm not.
The fake block was beautiful.
He sold the block and then he took off.
If you notice to the left, Munton was wide open too. Like Darnold had options. Like watch again on the left. Watch 86.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really pay attention.
Wide open.
Oh my god. Wow.
But that hitch by Darnold to allow him to do that double move was beautiful. I'm impressed by Darnold on that play too.
Yeah, way to throw the ball and some pressure after Ingram gave up the rush.
The dude was right in his face.
Yeah. Whoops. Ingram looked.
Man, Ingram sucks.
Hell yeah, Darnold.
Yeah, everything about that play was pretty perfect.
Leonard is a beast, though, man. When I was at that game and just seeing that guy, he is a freaking beast. Is that his name? Lawrence, right? Lawrence,
Dexter Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
They do got a Leonard though too.
Yeah,
he's from the rookie. He's a rookie though.
Yes, using JJ as eye candy, that was awesome because I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching the play, that's where my eyes were. Like I didn't notice Naylor doing a fake block before going out for a pass. I didn't notice Johnny Munt was wide open. I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do this stupid obvious thing and throw it to JJ behind the line of scrimmage and maybe get 2 yards. And then that little, like you said, Fish, that little hitch he did, like he caught everybody and nailed him. And he had pressure in his face when he made that throw too.
Yeah,
all
you know where that ball would have gone to if Kirk was under center? That guy in motion. Instantly passed. Here, yours. Instant.
And Fish, you make a great point. That's why we weren't winning games by 17 plus, because once we get up, we just play to protect the lead. We weren't stepping on throats. I don't know if that was a coaching thing or a quarterbacking thing, but it changed this game.
I mean, I don't know if they were really stepping on throats. How many points did they score without the defensive one?
21.
Yeah.
Not really. That's not really putting the.
But stepping on the throat means you're winning and you're still playing like you're not. It doesn't matter like how many points you score. It's like you have a good, comfortable lead, and you're still running this little trick play that maybe we could save that one, or maybe it's a little too risky to do that right now. Like when we're already ahead, they did it.
I think I'm trying to run the clock down with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, Dragos.
I think the Panthers Saints game is a better example of fucking putting the pedal to the metal there. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Hey, look, man, we just got to tune up our carburetor, okay?
All right, so we all watched the game. We know what happened. We're not going to jump into the stats and bore you guys with that. What I want to do now is just get your takeaways from this game, like your overall takeaways from week 1. It was against the Giants. And I also want you to tell me within that takeaway how much of this was the Vikings and how much was it a bad Giants team. Shaq?
So my first takeaway, or my main takeaway, is that even though the Giants do look bad and they have a quarterback problem, we all brought this up. We haven't won a game like this in years. We even played bad quarterbacks in that 13 and whatever season. We won 13 games. We played the Washington backup quarterback. We played a bunch of backup quarterbacks, and we almost lost those games. So we can't just say the Giants is a bad team. We actually got better to the point where, if we're playing a bad team, we're not going to play down to their level. We're going to actually play how good we are and not stoop down to, playing bad football because we can.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was kind of my take as well. Like it was like, for me, it was simple that we were good in all phases of the game, and I don't care who the opponent was, because every season we play bad teams. We play 5-win teams every single year, and we have not had a win like this where we look good on both sides of the ball and where we dominated it from beginning to end. So people would say what they want about, it was the bad Giants. People said, we were the bad Vikings coming into the season, saying, the over-under on wins is like 5.5, 6 wins, and you're not going to be very good. You're going to get a Hunter from Colorado because it could be a top 10 pick. So, it's not like we came in here expected to be a freaking juggernaut. But we went out there and did juggernaut things, in my opinion. So that's what it's for me. And also, all the new players that we signed, they pretty much had an impact on this game. Like you saw them, you felt their presence. And to me, that was good. Whether they were a free agent signing or a rookie like Dallas Turner getting a sack. Dallas Turner is only the second rookie in the Vikings history to get a sack in his first game. So they all made an impact, which tells me, Kwesi's cooking, KOC's cooking, everything's looking good. What was your takeaway, Cody?
My biggest takeaway, I would say, is KOC slowing the game down for Sam Darnold. I think that was pretty huge. Running the ball in 12-man personnel a bunch of times, running the ball in 11-man personnel, getting short, easy, quick routes, all right? And then when it did come down to the big shot plays, there's only 1 or 2 of them in the game. There wasn't like what we were used to seeing, 4 to 5, like these massive shots to JJ. Everything was simple, all right? Everything was simple and quick. Out routes, the corner routes, layered throws, making things a lot, like even on the play we just saw with the motion, right? Sending JJ out there and sinking the defense out so Darnold can have that easy throw, that layup throw. Even the slant route in the red zone to JJ was it was a good, easy throw, because we never saw that, right? And I enjoyed that KOC slowed the game down for Sam Darnold. I think he's going to have to do it next week also.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Fish, what was your takeaway from this game?
All right, so I thought it was a really good team win. Yeah, I mean, we could have track raced them a bit more to make it a great win. But I would say 60-40, Vikings being good, Giants being bad, like how that game went. And we put them in a position where they had to be bad. We had a balanced attack, and we made it so that way they couldn't. And we made Daniel Jones show that he's not worth no damn $40 million a year because he cannot do that.
Yeah, I think we all knew that Daniel Jones wasn't worth that.
I mean, we kind of gave him
us
that contract.
Us losing that playoff game and our defense giving him that contract, in the long game, we made them weaker.
I will say this. I am thankful that Daniel Jones did beat us, because if we probably beat the Giants in the playoffs, Ed Donatel will probably still be our defensive coordinator.
And now Ed Donatel's having Thanksgiving dinner with Daniel Jones' family. What was your takeaway, Jagos?
That was actually a big part of my take, is just like, man, it really goes to show the difference between a tentative defense like Donatel's, where it just lets shit happen, and then an attacking defense where they're coming from all angles, switching it up, guys blitzing from all over the place. It just totally exposed Jones, and as opposed to just letting him run around and throw for 300 yards and run for 100 yards. I think I said even in the group chat, like, man, Daniel Jones is terrible. Like in the first quarter, like, man, this guy sucks. But at the end of the day, like, I think a lot of it has to do with his ineptitude. But overall, you have to be happy with the win. Like you said, it's the NFL, man. Like, you got to win. You got a convincing win on almost every facet of the game. The offensive line actually played really good outside of Ingram and probably Bradbury a bit there. The defense dominated. Like Cody just said it perfectly. They gave Darnold perfect looks. They didn't ask him to do too much, but he just did exactly what he needed to do. I loved it, man. I thought it was just it definitely raised my confidence for next week. No doubt about it.
For sure. What's up, Emerson?
Skol, Emerson.
Tua just threw another interception, this time for a pick six.
Ouch.
Yeah, Jason. He needs Flores to come yell at him and tell him what the real deal is. He needs some of that tough love right now.
Yeah,
If you're throwing to a quarterback that's numbered in the 40s, you are not a good quarterback. I'm sorry.
So, Ronaldo, you were actually at the game, so you might have a little more insight that we didn't see on TV. What were your takeaways from this game?
Well, let me first answer the percentages. I gotta say that it was like 40% Vikings, 60% Giants. I really do. I saw a lot of drop passes. I saw some loose coverage. And however, where the Vikings did well, they won the trenches on both sides. Ingram was not good, but let me tell you something, man. The rest of our O-line, if they could play like that the rest of the season, we're going to win some football games, man. They crushed them. And I'll tell you what, that Giants defense I don't know if you're going to say they're good, but they have a lot of talent on that team, right? That they paid some money for that front four, and we held them to almost nothing, man. I mean, they had some pressures, and pressures matter, but I think our O-line played really, really, really well. So I'll take that. As far as some observations from the game, I have a very quick story. We were watching the warm-ups, and Ryan Wright hit a monster blast while they were warming up. It hit the turf and went right into my son's arms. Hit him in the chest. Oh. And he snagged it, and he threw it back to Brandon Powell. Powell's like, give me the ball. And he threw it back to Powell. I was like, dude, you should have just kept the ball.
I'm like, no, you know what? I'll just go home. I'd run away from the ball. I'll be going home. I don't even need to see the game.
What but I'm out. Gotta go.
I couldn't believe it happened, but whatever. He was like stunned. He was like, whatever. But so that happened. That was kind of
my God.
I'll be the moment where you tell your son that he can say his first F word. Fuck you, what is it for?
It's still a very cool story, Rinaldi, and I think you told us that your son wasn't a very big football fan, so that probably actually helped him.
Oh yeah, he's totally. I brought him a Jefferson jersey. He's like, can I keep it? I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, you got it, brother. It's all you. No. So we got a new Viking fan out of that, which is cool.
Nice.
He had a
Skol.
Where's the horn?
However, one other observation that you don't see, I thought it was kind of interesting. Reichard on the sideline is a freaking animal, man. The dude doesn't stop moving, stretching, kicking. It's wild to watch the dude. He was walking up and down the sidelines. He is 100% always in motion. I've never seen a football player do it exactly kind of like he did. So that was kind of a cool observation. The only other thing that I would say from being at the game is how many rotations on defense they put in. They're like 17 deep, maybe more. I don't even know. It's hard to keep track of it. But there were so many people on the field that kept rotating in. It's pretty wild to see how they're doing that. And if that's successful, I think we're going to have a fresh defense late in games this year, and that might matter. So those are observations from the game, not necessarily a recap, but that's what I saw from being there. By the way, I have one other story.
Let's hear it.
Talking about getting up to miss something. Hey, I got up. That's cool. We punted. I said, all right, time to go to the bathroom because we popped some beers. Time to go to the bathroom, right?
You missed it.
And we were on about the 6-yard line. It was literally, I was in the bathroom, and the play happened right in front of us, the Van Ginkel play. I missed it in the bathroom.
Oh,
I was literally sitting in that corner of the end zone, like at the 6-yard line, only like 5 or 6 rows back. I missed the play.
That's when the Giants fans started leaving, I heard.
That they did. And the Skol chants, guys, were unbelievable. I'm sitting like right in that corner. I'm definitely in that photo right there.
Were you sitting there at that moment? You weren't there at that moment.
Those empty seats for me.
Hey, that's going to teach you to take the time to shake twice, Ronaldo.
You were playing with it.
Commentators on that play was wild. Like they blew their mind. Like, what just happened?
It blew everybody's mind. Like I clipped that real quick, but I didn't want to make it a really long clip. But you see the players, they're all like this.
Well,
like all the players are like, what just happened? And
that was something he saw on tape. Guarantee it.
Well, it wasn't something that he saw on tape. Apparently, he learned something from Vic Fangio, and he wouldn't say what it was, obviously, but he learned a tale, and he's like, when he sees that tail, he kind of knows that play is coming, and he's done that before. This isn't the first time he's done it. He has the 2 fastest interceptions in NFL history. He broke his own record. Like
he's got that high Madden awareness for sure. Because I was
like something he sees to let him know it's coming, and it's worked multiple times, and it might work again.
Imagine catching a football that's going 60 miles an hour from 2 feet away. Like that's
basically one-handed too. He's got
And I just got home from work and turned the game on, and that play happened. Like I got home, got the game on, like and then bam, and I was like, I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
I also thought his play when Jones tried to take off on 3rd down in the red zone, and he fucking just stopped him easily on 3rd down.
Oh yeah,
I think that was an underrated play. Like,
no, it was.
I half expected Jones to just waddle into the end zone. It was like, nope.
He got a sack on that play, actually.
Yeah, I think that was a huge.
Was that his sack?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
We had like
5 sacks.
Yeah, we might sack, but Ginkel had one of them. We did mention Dallas Turner when I mentioned all the new players that came in, and Dallas Turner being one of them, and Dallas Turner being only the second Viking in history to have a sack in their first game. Our Mr. Author.
Gotta love to see it.
Happy to see it. I mean, I'm not sure, but it seemed like he was only coming in on third downs. Maybe it seems like they're slowly working him into the rotation. But that's cool. He's fresh every time with his ears pinned back and rushing the quarterback. So if that's how they're going to use him this season, I think he has a chance at double-digit sacks. Like his job is to sack the quarterback.
No doubt.
Come off the plane ready to do it, right?
Right. What's up, Reagan?
Skol, Reagan.
Skol.
Go, Reagan.
All right, well, let's give out some game balls and let's move on to the 49er game. Shaq, who you giving your game ball to?
So my game ball is going to Harrison Smith.
Ooh.
Because I heard the stat. Apparently, he's currently the leader, interception leader. Active player leading the interceptions.
Makes sense.
So I'm like, And everybody was thinking, oh yeah, Harrison Smith was washed up. His PFF grade was horrible last year. I don't know why we bringing him back. We could have just let him retire. He's not doing much for this team. We need to get a new safety. And Harrison Smith, being the old man he is, still showing that he still got the safety smarts and he's still contributing. And I kept liking what Brian Flores was doing with him. He looked like he's about to blitz. And then like 2 seconds before Daniel Jones called hike, he's running back, covering his quarters or a zone on the field. So I got to give it to Harrison Smith, the old veteran, still making it do what it do.
That's a good one. Renata, who you giving your game ball to?
I'm going with our new running back, Mr. Aaron Jones.
Hell yeah.
Look, there's the big play. The big plays were really cool. The touchdown was great. I think he brings a lot of energy to the team. But what I love the most about it, and it's a little underrated, is that when everybody knew he was going to run the ball and we were running the clock out, guess what he did? He made first downs. He held on to the ball. He does a lot of really good things. But I don't remember the last time we had drives like that at the end of a game to get to the victory celebration. He did a really good job when everybody knew he was running the ball, and I don't think we've had that kind of running back since who? I don't know.
Prime Dalvin Cook.
Brian Cook.
You wanted to say Adrian Peterson, didn't you?
I want to say Matt Asiata. No.
We had the Asiata game. Reagan said it was AP, but no, he reminded me of Prime Dalvin Cook out there, and I mean he's older than Prime Dalvin Cook was, but just I guess maybe wearing the number 33 kind of helped that vision. But yeah, like you said, like he was getting stopped at the lines, like oh man, he's not gonna get it, but then he would just twist his body and fight for it and get the first down. Like that was cool. It wasn't just like running to a brick wall and dying like our running back last year.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Who's your game ball going to, Fish?
I'm following up with David. I, too, am giving my game ball to Aaron Jones. And just to kind of add on to it, Aaron balanced the offense out. He got some good, tough first downs. He took a lot of pressure off of Sam Darnold. On that third quarter play where we took the opening kickoff and went down for the nail and score, right before that, he had two big runs. 3rd and 9, and he runs for 12 yards. When was the last time we did that? Then he follows it up with a 19-yard run. Let us also mention the first touchdown of the game for us was a 3-yard TD run. Oh, my God, we ran it in for a touchdown within the 5-yard line. When was the last time we did that? So, I mean, it wasn't exactly a power run. It was an end around where he didn't exactly bust through the middle, but it don't matter. He had the speed to get around the corner. So, Aaron Jones, key to the game this past week. I think he's the main reason why we won.
Sorry, Fish, if I interrupt you a little bit, but Tua just went down, head slamming the back of the head, slamming the field. Players on a knee.
Oh, Jesus.
That's not good.
Yeah, his 4th concussion.
Yeah, that's probably his season. Like the honest, if it's concussion, if not more.
Maybe his career.
Listen, this is a half-hearted joke, but it's half serious too. The dude needs to go to a pro wrestling training camp and learn how to take a bump. Seriously.
I agree. Needs to do something because that's not good. That's not good. Players on their knees. So, thoughts and prayers to Tua. And sorry to put you on the spot. Not to put you on the spot, Cody. But who?
He's a fantasy quarterback. Woo, I'm going to trade.
Oh my gosh! You can't be thinking that, Cody. Who's your game ball going to?
So my game ball is going to the guy that gives out the game balls, in my opinion. Just the way nothing of that game didn't look like a script. You know what I'm saying? Like everything felt in line with the script. Even being backed up on the 99.5 yard line, it felt scripted. That whole scoring drive, right? Just allowing Sam Darnold to just go 12 for 12, right? The short, easy throws, those nice throws that you can layer in there, and running the ball more than 11 times in the game. Like, when is the last time we saw that? You know what I'm saying? Like, allowing Sam Darnold to lean on Aaron Jones and that defense. And I think that's why Sam Darnold is so proficient, right? Because he was able to game manage the game. Everything felt really good and scripted. He stuck to the script. Even when JJ only had 3 catches, he didn't keep force feeding Justin Jefferson the ball like we've seen in the past, or maybe it might be because of Kirk Cousins, who knows? But I think it was a lot on KOC. This is the offense that I've been wanting to run. It comes from a Shanahan offense. Look who Shanahan has. Brock Purdy, the perfect game-managing quarterback, right? And you can kind of see how he was running. His offense was similar to that Shanahan offense. And I give my game ball to KOC.
That's a good game ball to give because, I was been very critical of his gameplay calling and everything. Didn't think he could do it. Thought maybe he should give those duties off and focus on being a head coach of the whole team. But I don't think I've seen this team as prepared as they were for this game and just everything clicking the way it was. And the calls were good. I didn't know if they were running or passing each play. Like it was very well mixed in. He had it dialed up well. Maybe it was a quarterback problem. I don't know. Dragos, who you giving your game ball to?
Giving my game ball to the guy who was handpicked by Keenan McCardle. I was just overly excited about him when we drafted him. His name's Jalen Naylor. He's the guy that we heard everything about in practice and training camp, just been killing it for all these years and just cannot seem to get on the field healthy. And as soon as he did, man, like I said, I honestly legit will say right now, I think he's better than Osborne was with the team. I think he's more dynamic. I think he can adjust his body better. I just think if he can actually play the game and be healthy, it's going to be a lethal combination. Not to mention the fact that he's going to be able to step in if Addison gets in trouble or can't play or whatever. I just think he's very underrated as far in people's minds. And that catch for him, you could just tell it was a big deal. You could see it in his body language when he scored his touchdown. He's a great player, man, and I think he's going to be a big part of the team this year.
That's not a bad one. Even though he only had the one catch, that's the only opportunity he had, and it was a turning point moment. So, I'm not mad at it. And like you said, if Addison gets in trouble or injured like he is right now, Naylor might have to step up this week. So,
right.
Yeah, at least I think gave us a little bit of confidence that he can step into that role if needed. So that's good. Mine's going to a guy that we just talked about, and that's Van Ginkel. And the reason I'm giving it to him over Patrick Jones had 2 sacks, so he'd be an honorable mention. But I think a lot of Viking fans weren't really happy with the signing. I think they felt he was a little bit older, or maybe they just never heard of him. I don't know what it was, but I was super stoked about it. And most of it was for his pass rushing, which he didn't even need to do much of it this game. And that's still another element of his game that we're going to be able to see. But he's a strong, sure tackler. He's got good football instincts. And I'm just super psyched that we saw in game 1 that was a good signing. Don't you agree, Fish?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm never going to hear the end of this. The guy's got an injured foot, and I'm feeling some Marcus Davenport vibes happening right now.
Oh.
So let's make sure this man gets back on the field again before we anoint him and we start bashing me to death.
I'm not bashing you to death. I'm just kicking a little dirt. Not death.
I know.
It's gonna be a slow death, Fish.
Let me know, Fish. When was Davenport's last game with a 90+ PFF? I'd like to know.
I don't care about no damn PFF, Dragos. I know he played 1 game and he was hurt the whole season.
You played.
Why do you say that, Fish? Because guess who landed on the Lions injury report this week? Davenport.
Yes, he did.
And the Lion fans are kind of like us after the one game with Davenport. Like, oh man, he's on the injury report. We need him. He played good. I've seen this movie.
Love it.
He did play good.
So listen, you take a little dirt, and I'll tell you what, I'll take a bit more of that humble pie if he gets back on the field again and keeps performing. I'll eat that crow. But right now, let's just pull the reins back a little bit on David's
Fish.
I'm gonna work on catching that crow. Okay, I'm not gonna cook it yet. I'm not gonna kill it. I'm gonna put it in a cage. If I can catch
David's the expert bird catcher. You should take notes from him.
This is true. Poor Bob, though. Bob.
David can definitely help me with that. All right, well, let's move on to the 49er game, which is taking place this Sunday. The Vikings and Niners have played a pretty epic game last year on Monday Night Football, where the Vikings came away with the victory. That's pretty much the end of the Viking season, but it was a high point end, I guess. This year, the Vikings are a totally different team, so not really know what to expect, but the Niners are very similar. We had a great game against the Giants, and the Niners had a good game against the Jets. I'm going to start with you, Cody. Where's your confidence level in this game compared to where it was 3 weeks ago?
The same, I think, and it's the same. The gauntlet starts right now, right? Weeks 2 through 8, I think it is. Even 2 games after the bye, I think this is the gauntlet, right? I think we really need to take away at least 2 wins within this gauntlet just to have a successful season. I think this is going to be tough. This is what's going to show us who we are for the rest of the year, I think.
Okay. What about you, Fish? Has your confidence went one way or another after watching both of our games this week?
All right, so let me paint a little picture for you on the long term for this season. I'm the 7-win guy. I was the 7-win guy before Cody became the 7-win guy, and y'all ain't changing that. But I predicted that our win against the Giants would be about 24-13 with a late touchdown pulling us ahead, and the game didn't shape up like that. We were dominant from whistle to whistle, so I have a little bit of a change in mentality. It's not a definitive change. If we keep it close, if I feel like at all points in time we have a chance where we could win the game playing against the 49ers and the Texans, where we don't just get absolutely blown out by either one, I will revise my win total. And I will probably be able to find 2 more wins off of that.
I don't know if I'll accept
we ain't even got to win them.
I don't know if I'll accept your revision at that point.
Well, tough luck, buddy.
Is this
You're about to say it. I'm going to mute you. What Fish? You're still at 7? What about you, Rinaldi? Confidence up or down after this, or same?
Same at this point. My prediction was to be 2-3 after 5, and we go to the playoffs, and I'm sticking to it. And we have a good shot at being 2-3. We just got to split one. We got to get one out of the next 3 games. And anything else other than that is cake, and we're going to the playoffs. Get ready.
All right. Shaq, where you at?
About the same. You know, I had us going into the bye with like only 2 losses. So, you know, I'm just waiting for it. The only team I really see us having a real problem with is the Texans.
Not even the Niners.
Wow.
Not even the Niners. Crazy fun fact. They said apparently the Niners haven't beat us in Minnesota in the last 8 times we played them in Minnesota.
1992.
Yep.
I'm hoping I'm not jinxing us, but bet the
It
odds.
wouldn't be you jinxing. It wouldn't be you jinxing us. I've seen that thing all over this week. That it's been since 1992, and I don't know if that's just some Viking fans coping or trying to pump themselves up or what it is. But
That's cool.
We're searching.
it does, Leonard. All records get broken, but hopefully it's not this week.
Yeah, and we're 2-1 dogs this week.
No, I don't even know who that is. What do you say about Darnold?
That's a corner, I believe.
He's a corner, Lanier. I want him next year. He's a free agent.
Travis, you're going to have to tell us in the comments what he said because I didn't hear that.
He's a saint.
What about you, Dragos?
I feel better about the team overall. I expected a closer game with the fucking pitiful Giants, and we kind of dominated them. One thing I will say is that I also watched the Niners game, and they looked every bit of the Super Bowl contender that they were last year. So it's definitely just going to be one of those. I saw a lot of people like, "Oh my God, we're going to the playoffs, same damn Obama." I'm like, dude, take a fucking deep breath. Like, if he actually comes and shows up and plays like he did last week and puts up the same, which I just highly doubt is going to happen. If I had to bet my money right now, I'd put it on the 49ers. I mean, I'm not stupid. But I do think that that we have a better chance than I thought we did. Every time I look through the schedule, I put it as an L. So now I'm actually thinking we have a chance. That's where I'm at.
That's
gold.
that's
gold.
bulletin board material right there.
There it is.
Wow. He likes to throw me the ball.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think the Vikings cover plus 5.5.
Isn't it
I
6
think that
now?
might
It
be
went
one
down?
of the nicest way to throw shade I've ever seen.
That's my confidence level.
I mean, it was throwing shade. That's that's a definition of throwing shade.
Cody went down to 5.5.
Plus 5.5. That's where I'm at. I think they cover, and that's my confidence level.
I thought it was 6.5. So that's kind of good.
I'm more confident. I can't say how much more confident, but I'm more confident after seeing this team actually perform, and the guys we hope would play good played good. Like, so I think we can go out there and give these guys a run. Like I thought, maybe we lose by 3 scores in this game, and I don't think that's possible. So I mean, to Cody's point, maybe we keep it within 5, but maybe we should get a little more insight on this. So let's go ahead and Skol with the enemy.
Skol with the enemy. What's
There he
up,
is.
Joe?
Hey,
Oh man, 30.
Sam
Yeah,
Darnold
yeah.
can play a good game in MetLife. Who would have thought?
Right. I know Jets fans didn't think so. So what we got here, we got Joe. He's a 49ers fan, and this is something that we want to do every week is bring on a fan of the other team, or maybe even 2 fans of the other team, and just kind of have a little conversation and kind of see where the mindset of the other side is instead of just speculating on that. So Joe, first give us your background on being a 49er fan.
It goes back to early 90s. I just remember turning the TV on one day when football was being played. I'm pretty sure it was a Niners-Cowboys game. I started cheering for the Niners. My little brother started cheering for the Cowboys. And it kind of just stuck from there. I know Montana was hurt that year. Steve Young was in. It was Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and it was kind of just something I stuck with forever.
Was that might have been 92 because Steve Young was the one who beat us the last time we played in Minnesota.
Yeah, early 90s.
Yeah, so that probably was that 92 game.
At least you're not a Cowboys fan. I like that.
How nice is it to have good quarterbacks?
I mean, we went through a little bit of stretch where it was middle of the road, and we really didn't know what we had with Alex Smith and the part-timers we had in between there. Trent Dilfer got us a little ways, Jeff Garcia, but nobody really has had us there other than the Super Bowl appearances since Steve Young.
So speaking of your quarterbacks, how do you feel about Brock Purdy? Is he the guy, or are the 49ers going to commit to him? What do you think?
I think they're going to commit to him, and I do think he's the guy. He's definitely been the guy on the roster for the last 3 years. I think any 49ers fan would tell you that they knew in 2022 that our best quarterback on the roster was our third stringer. And I don't think that, anybody really batted an eye when Trey Lance went down and then Jimmy G went down, because we knew, okay, we're going to get a shot with this Purdy kid that everybody, is just looking at as Mr. Irrelevant. He goes on a run, takes us all the way to the NFC Championship where he gets injured in the first quarter, and that's the first game that he loses. So I think that he is the guy. I think they're going to commit to him also because, I mean, if you watch any sports channels right now, you're going to hear everybody say that the Niners window is closing because, they're going to have to pay him. So, last year, this year, I think it's got to happen soon. Otherwise, we're going to start losing a lot more of our key pieces.
Well, that's fair. I do think that.
When does Brock Purdy become your backup quarterback? Because Minnesota just loves them.
Well, that was actually going to be one of my questions for you guys. Now that we're on that topic, is okay, Kirk Cousins is gone. you guys know this is pre-draft that Sam Darnold's your quarterback. You know, what are your feelings on that, knowing the system that he just came from in the organization he just came from with being our backup?
I'll take it first, then whoever wants to jump in. I honestly thought that, okay, Sam Darnold's coming in and he's just a benchmark for whoever we draft. Can whoever we draft beat out this guy? But once we started seeing Sam Darnold in training camp, I was like, okay, this guy actually looks pretty good. He throws a nice ball. You know, maybe spending some time with Shanahan helped him out a little bit, form his mechanics, and now he's working with KOC. I kind of saw something there. But the whole time I still did think, okay, this is just a guy here that JJ McCarthy has to beat out. But once JJ McCarthy went down, I mean, I have confidence in him that he can get us to the playoffs. I don't know if we can make a deep run, but I mean, I got some confidence in him, and I do think it probably helped him spending some time there last year.
Yeah.
I actually thought that your other former San Francisco 49ers quarterback was going to beat him out for the starting position.
That's what I really want to hear about.
That's Nick Mullins. That's Nick Mullins, Joe.
Nick Mullins, baby. I did not think Sam Darnold would be our starting quarterback week one. I still don't think he should be. I think Nick Mullins is a better quarterback.
You don't think it's a product of Sam Darnold playing for the Jets and the Panthers, not just the fact that it's Sam
He
Darnold?
played for the 49ers too. And you know what? Here's the thing, Joe. I know it's a very small sample size, but when he started for the 49ers in that one game, he had a 60% completion percentage, which is his career, 60%. So he changed. He went to that 49ers team and still had a 60% completion percentage.
Fish sounds like the typical battered Vikings fan that you get from the Jets, the Raiders, the Browns. There's a lot of animosity there, Fish.
I just want you to know I'm an exceptional battered Vikings fan. I just keep it stifled for the sake of the show.
You are definitely exceptional, Fish. Shaq, speak on it.
So, I've been telling these guys about Sam Darnold. I've been watching him because I'm a USC fan, and I noticed like every time a quarterback goes to the Jets, they don't pan out. We talk about Mark Sanchez, who only won because of his defense. We could talk about Geno Smith, who didn't win with the Jets, and we could talk about Sam Darnold. Before and after Sam Darnold on the Jets wasn't winning shit, and then Sam Darnold went to the Panthers after Cam Newton kind of became a bad quarterback, and the Panthers is a bad organization. You can look at them now; they ain't winning shit now. So it's kind of like Sam Darnold has that hype of he's a top 5 quarterback, well, top 5 pick quarterback, but he never had somebody to actually coach him on what he needs to do better until he finally got to the 49ers, and he had Kyle Shanahan, who he didn't have to start. There was no pressure for him to be a top 5 pick with the 49ers. He actually got to sit back, watch Brock Purdy lead the offense and learn, because, a lot of offenses and a lot of coaches try to throw a quarterback in there and be like, go lead this team. And it's hard to do when, you never got that coaching to, really give you a chance to learn the offense without you, making mistakes. Because if you make one mistake, they ready to throw your ass out the league.
Got something, Cody?
Yeah, so the Sam Darnold thing is funny. Like, I predicted it in the end of February that we were going to get Sam Darnold. And I predicted it because I was like, that's such a Vikings move. Let's get a guy because he stepped in. Now he's the starter because someone got hurt. Now he turns the backup. That's the Vikings quarterback right there. And my worst case scenario was not us drafting a quarterback in the first round. So what Keith said about he was the benchmark. That's what I was praying to God for, that he was just going to be the benchmark. I got Sam Darnold in the background. We call him Saint Sam now. But
for how long? It might be a week. It might only last a week.
Yeah, I'm still not a big firm believer of Sam Darnold because I don't think if the game is on the line, he's not going to win it for you, in my opinion. But if the game is scripted correctly, he will win the game for you, and that's my biggest take.
That's where the game planning comes in. You don't need him to be a top 5, top 10 quarterback. You need him to not turn the ball over.
So Joe,
I beg to differ, sir. We're gonna have to run this coming weekend with you guys.
That's my question to Joe. Joe, I mean, so the middle of your D line, I mean, they're new guys, right? I mean, at the end of the day, how do you feel about those guys? I mean, look, I know your ends are great, and I know Fred Warner's a monster. A monster. And I'm more scared about him than anybody else. But
almost as good as Pace.
Are you convinced that D-line is going to be able to stop the run pretty solidly? Or, I mean, where are you at with that?
I honestly think they can. Breece Hall is, even in his young career, I still think is a potential, if he's not already, a top 5 running back. And we all know the Jets' offensive line woes in the last 5 years, like the Giants. I think I was texting you during the game, up until one point where the first sack was given up, the new look offensive line for the Jets held up. I still think the penetration that the defense is getting from the Niners, whether it be middle edge linebacker, they controlled all facets of that game. 38-minute time of possession. Granted, that's offense, but a lot of it was controlled with the defensive line as well.
My question is actually, let me piggyback that, because I think that there was some game situations on that though too. I mean, once they got up, they were up, and so I don't know if they've been tested well up that middle, and that's why I'm asking that question.
That's fair. You did see that, that last drive where Rodgers sat out. They kind of did whatever they wanted, but at that point, you're in cruise control. Not something that Vikings fans know much about. For 5 years.
I like him.
But I don't think we ever felt tested. I think the third drive of the game that the Jets had was their touchdown drive. Nobody better than Rodgers on a free play either. So, that's your one touchdown that you give up. Other than that, then the Niners controlled it, whether it was, the secondary, the line, or the linebackers. I haven't seen enough from the Vikings yet. Obviously, it's only been one game. And no matter what the score was, you guys won by 17, more than 17. You still lost the time of possession battle. So that's not something that's really concerning me right now.
You can come on every week. Go ahead.
Yep.
That doesn't bug me that we lost time of possession because we were scoring the ball and kicking it back to them. So we weren't doing long drive.
In the first quarter, you're just throwing the ball away to the other team just to give them a head start. Then
we didn't throw the ball away.
It was sympathy.
It was a fumble.
We had a fumble that we recovered from, like a good team would. We held them to a field goal when we fumbled on our side of the field.
And we were like, we understand. We have been where you are now just recently. And we want you to understand that we feel you. So we're going to take it easy. It's not going to feel as painful as you think it is. We're going to beat you by a fair amount, but it's not going to be like bad, like what those nasty 49ers would do to you.
What was your mindset last year before we played you guys, since we lost the Bucks, right? No one thought the Bucks were going to be a good team. What was your mindset last year?
I'm a realistic fan. I'm not a we're going to win every single game. I knew we had a stretch of games last year. I think don't quote me because I don't think it's in order, but you guys were in there. The Browns were in there, and I believe there was another team. And I said, we're going to lose 2 or 3 of the next 4 games. And the Vikings were one of them. Now, granted, last year we did have I think a little bit of an injury spell hit us right before we hit you. But I knew that was a game that we needed to limp into. And it turns out that, we laid an egg. You guys got the best of us. We haven't beat you since, 92? Is that what you said, Shaq?
In Minnesota. In
Kind of makes you sick of coming to Minnesota, don't it?
Funny in San Francisco. I've been to like 3 of them.
So, seeing you guys on the schedule week 2, I'm like, okay, this is another, letdown game right off the rip. And then before the kickoff on the Jets game, to see CMC not playing, Hufunga's not back from his ACL last year. It was like, okay, we really have a chance to start 0-2, and we're supposed to be, a top 2 or 3 team in the NFC. But to see them not miss a beat without Hufunga, without CMC, Leonard Floyd playing a big game coming over from the Bills. The way that they dominated that game against, a top 5 defense for the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers healthy once he made it back to the 4th play, which they made a big deal. I feel a lot more confident going into the game this year than I did last year.
Well, that's good to hear, because I was gonna ask that question, but first I gotta address that you guys were a little injured last year. So were we. We were without Justin Jefferson. We were without Christian Darrisaw, just like you guys without Debo and without Trey. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. We're both missing some guys, so let's ease it on that. But I was going to ask you, like, what was your feeling when you saw the Vikings in Minnesota on your schedule week 2, like, and you kind of addressed it that you didn't see that like as an easy game?
Not necessarily, but after week 1, I feel like it's a little bit easier than I originally anticipated. You guys, you played the Giants, we played the Jets, and I'm more confident now than I was when I first saw the game. I said, Rinaldi, let's go to Minnesota.
My last question for you is the CMC injury, right? Do you want him to play knowing that he fumbled the ball last year and that was the momentum shift for us, or what?
Wow.
The middle of the season game when we still made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I don't want him to play this week with an Achilles, with a calf on turf. Week 2, we just saw what Jordan Mason can do. We saw what the offensive line can do. Trent Williams didn't play any of training camp and is still the best offensive lineman in the league. It's not even a question. If he can sit out another week, 2 weeks, rest it up, and avoid that Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins injury that that's looming anytime you got that calf injury, I'm okay with that.
Joe,
it's got nothing to do, and it's got nothing to do with a fumble in week 7, 8.
Yeah, it was like I think it's week 6 or 7. Yeah,
I'd ask you what the final score is, but I see it down on the bottom of your thing. So 30-13, huh?
30-13.
Joe, are you in like some 49er fan groups at all?
No,
like,
I'm not.
Discord or anything?
No.
I just wondering like what the vibe is from other fans. You seem pretty even keel about it. I'm wondering like what the feeling is among 49er fans overall.
I don't. There's not a lot of them up in here in upstate New York. I'm kind of on my own perch up here, but I'm not a member of any groups or anything like that. But it's the same thing I say about all the sports teams that I'm. The fan for me isn't fanatic. I'm a fan of the sport, and I'm also a realist. I'm not going to say my team's the best. I'm a Red Sox fan, for Christ's sake.
No, that's cool.
So Joe, I got a question for you. Did you watch Receiver?
I haven't watched that one yet. I did watch Quarterback. Receiver is on my list to watch.
Well, it's Debo and Kittle in there. You better watch it, dude.
I know.
So I guess I don't get to ask the question of how you felt about like all that.
Not yet. I'll come back on.
He'll come back on when we're playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, sure.
The NFC
I do have a
Championship
question.
game.
I do have a question for you, Joe. So, 49ers have been a great running team for the past couple of years, even before y'all got Christian McCaffrey. Can you speak on like Kyle Shanahan and like that run scheme? Do you think it's more so Christian McCaffrey, or do you think it's more so the way y'all actually run the ball?
I think it's a little bit of both, Shaq. Obviously we ran the ball like that. Like you said, we ran the ball like that before CMC got here. I think he brings a different dynamic to it because he's not just a running back. He catches the ball out of the backfield. Everybody on that offense blocks, catches, run. I mean, if anybody watched the game on Monday, Kyle Juszczyk had 2 catches and was free for a third one running down the sideline for a touchdown. I believe that Kyle Shanahan, couple blunders that he's made in the last few years, nobody's going to doubt that, but is still one of the best offensive play callers in the league, and possibly top 5 ever in play calling in the league. His schemes alone, his motion before snap. There's so many different things that you can do off of every look that you have. It does. To me, it doesn't matter who's in the backfield, but the fact that it is CMC or whatever, it just adds different dynamics and in different ways you can go off of it.
Shaq, I know where you're going with that one. Shaq, hold on, Shaq. I know you're going with that because me and Shaq were debating about this, and he's saying I was pumping up Mason, like, man, he looks really good, and like, man, I might rather see CMC. And Shaq like, no, it's just a scheme. Anybody could do it, and kind of discrediting what Mason was doing. And I just came back and said, you know what, Shanahan is a great offensive mind, and yes, he probably does run up a good scheme, but you can't take away from what Mason is doing. And the 49ers haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Frank Gore. Now, I know that they've done a lot of committees, but 1,000 yards is 60 yards a game, and they haven't had anybody that's done that until CMC. So I know where Shaq was going with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
So one more question for you, Joe. Do you feel like David looks more distinguished with his puffy earlobe, or do you feel like he should step on another hornet's nest and get one on the other side to balance it out?
It would be easier for me to answer that if I could see past his cheek.
Come with the heat. Bring
Every
it on.
week, you are free to come on every week, sir. I love this guy.
Great stuff, Joe. Thank you for doing it, man. That was great.
Yeah,
Thank
Joe, thank you very much.
Absolutely,
Do
guys.
you have
Thanks
any
for
more
having
questions?
me.
Do you have any questions for us before you get out of here?
I had one more, but it just slipped my mind.
Yes, I am really that handsome. It's not the camera. Yes, it does add on 15 pounds, but I'm still fat.
Slips your mind like a ball.
I think we can sustain some pressure on you guys. Yes, I do.
I think the one thing is every Vikings fan like Fish with the battered personalities, with it always being close calls, whether it be a foot on the end line in the playoffs with Brett Favre. Was it in the playoffs with Brett Favre, or a missed field goal? Or is it?
No,
is
Brett Favre's where we threw it against you guys at the back of the end zone, and we stayed in by that much to win the game.
Okay.
Well, wait till your team don't go to the damn Super Bowl for 40 plus years, and you tell me about being
I wouldn't
battered.
say every fan is like Fish, but I'd say most of us are, and I'd say probably 70% of the fans are like that. I think there's still 30% of the fans who are just see purple and it's all good, and we're gonna do it one day.
I will say that is. I'm not big on going to football games. Honestly, I'd rather sit in my living room, but that is an environment that I think that I would love to go to, watching the opening game ceremonies and the whole thing just looks like it would be a lot of fun. So kudos to you guys for sticking it through the hard times, even the one score wins and all those close games.
Like a battered wife.
Yeah.
He loves me.
Joe.
He's not going to do it to me.
Thank you
this
very
way.
much for coming on. Like, this is the
Skol,
first time
buddy.
we've done this, and man, you set a great example. Like, when we have future guests on to do this, I might have to show them this clip to show this is what we're looking for and this is what we're expecting. You were awesome, dude.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, let's
Very
go.
knowledgeable too.
What's that?
Let's go.
Go Niners, 30-13.
All right, Joe, got to cut you off now.
Ah!
All right, man. Hey, that was really cool, man. If we could get a guest like that every week, I think it would be awesome. I think some people in the audience had a little bit of a problem with it, but I think they need to see where we're going with that. We're trying to see what the other team fan base is thinking, you know, so you're not just hearing us and our speculation and all that. We want to know what that fan base is thinking. Like, are they worried about this game? Are they not? What are they worried about? Like, maybe make us see things a little bit differently. And that's what we're going for here.
At 30 to 13, he's not worried at all.
No.
His words said a little more than what his tagline said.
He was playing the game. He was playing the game. I'm on this Viking show. If I bring the heat, we're going to come with the water. I don't want the water.
Yeah, and you know, I want to give credit to us too, because there were some times he threw some zingers and we didn't totally jump on him like we've been known to do at times to people. Like, we're like, all right, or I've been known to do people. I don't know, but that was cool. That was fun. And yes, we are going to do this with cheeseheads. If there's any cheeseheads that are willing to come on here, I want to do it with every team that we play. At least 15, 20 minutes.
I
More
might know
violent,
somebody.
he said.
I have
All
a
right.
coworker who's a Packer fan.
All right, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. They better be as good as Joe.
There's no holds bar on that Packer fan, though.
I'll try to get my coworker Mike Reed on for the Bears. He's fun.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw the link up now if there's anybody that wants to jump on. But while I do that, Rinaldi and Cody, why don't you tell us about the keys of the game and your guys' opinion?
Okay.
Yeah, keys of the game. What numbers did I say? What's the first one? What we had on there was slow Sam down, right? So, in my opinion, is slow the game down for Sam. All right, for Sam Darnold. Do what you did with the Giants. All right, we don't need to see a bunch of shot plays going to Justin Jefferson. We don't need to see him holding the ball back in that pocket for long periods of time. Quick throws. All right, quick throws. Just move the chains. All right, remind us back in 2017, Case Keenum, right, where you just relied the game on other portions of your offense or other portions towards the defense to slow the game down for Sam Darnold.
My first key is defense, man. We have to be able to stop that run. I mean, that running back they have just played great, and I know that it's scheme, but but you can go back to Mostert. You can go back to the Shanahan running backs are just dominating physical guys, and I don't think we match up as good against him as we do against CMC somehow. I honestly believe that. We have a quick, fast defense, and I'm worried about getting run over. So we'll see if some of those newer additions like Tillery and let's see if Bullard can hold up. See how Phillips holds up. I'm really worried about slowing that run down, and they have so many weapons. And I still don't think our D backs have been challenged yet. I don't think we got challenged that hard at all against the Giants. The average pass is like 4 yards a rip.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that a key is let's stop that run game, and it starts there. Their whole offensive scheme goes through the run, and if we can't stop that, we're in for a long night.
And I think we don't really necessarily need to stop the run, just slow it down.
Yeah,
just slow it down, right? Because we saw
like 90 yards. You give up 80, 90 yards, you're okay.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think we're okay there.
Yeah.
Let me chime one in here, fellas. How about protect the ball?
Yeah, well,
no mistakes.
Hey, Fish, we tied the turnovers this time. We didn't lose it. I would have liked to have won the turnover battle in this game, but at least we tied, and right now we're sitting even.
I think we're going to need to be at least +2 to win this game.
Okay. Let's let them get through these.
My next one, I would say, is run, Aaron, run. Right? Give the ball to Aaron Jones as much as possible because you're going to win the time of possession. Right? And then it slows the game down also for, again, Sam Darnold, right? And it allows the play action to open up. If we saw the same Aaron Jones that we saw against the Giants defense, that front four, all right, and we keep handing the ball to him and you keep feeding him, I don't think we're going to have a problem with play action. Just let Aaron Jones run the ball. KOC, get your script, make sure it's 12-man personnel, 11-man personnel, run the ball. Tire out this defense.
I'm going to stay in the trenches and go on the defensive line. I think we got to get pressure on Purdy. I do not, because we haven't been challenged in the D backs. I think the reason we weren't challenged is because we had so many pressures against the Giants, and we need to do the same exact thing this time. So, stop the run and get some pressure on Purdy. I don't really want to see our guys one-on-one with Ayuk. I don't want to see our guys one-on-one with Debo. That does not make sense to me. So it starts with up front. We have to win the trenches. We have to be the bigger bully. And I'm not sure if we can do it or not, but that's where I think it starts.
Yeah, and our last key of the game was me and Rinaldi coming together on it was make the game ugly. I don't care if we win 13-9, all right? Make the game ugly. Force some turnovers. Make Purdy look pedestrian, right? Make him look like a quarterback that he doesn't play for the 49ers, right? Make it ugly. Force the ball on the ground, right? Even if you're taking time of possession away from the Niners, right, and you're only scoring field goals, but you're stopping the run and stopping them from scoring touchdowns, I'm perfect with that. I could win this game literally 12-6 and be happy with it, right?
Me too.
Make this game ugly.
I think you really kind of hit it all, but I mean, make it ugly is really where it's kind of at. What's an ugly win? Define an ugly win. A win is an ugly win. I don't care how it is. It's turnovers. It's for unforced errors. I'll take it all. Like whatever, we have to capitalize on unforced errors, right? If we pressure Purdy enough and he misses throws, that's an ugly game, and that's good, right? It doesn't even have to be a sack; it just has to be ugly. And I agree with that. We have to get in the street fight and win.
100%. Give me 3.8 to 4.2 yards per carry and 5 yards of throw. At least the chains are moving. That's all I care about.
Yep.
So I like that. So our keys to the game we got to stop their run game, run, Aaron, run, which means we got to get Aaron Jones running early and often. We got to pressure Purdy. If we can pressure Purdy, I think we can have some success on defense, and I think there's a good chance of us doing it. He's not as mobile as Daniel Jones. As bad as Daniel Jones is, he is mobile, and he was able to get away from a lot of the pressure we sent at him. I don't know that Purdy will be able to. Slow down, Sam. Keep it simple. Don't do too much. Don't play outside of yourself. And make the game ugly. Dirty it up a little bit. Don't let it be that finesse game that the 49ers like to play.
Mm-hmm.
Fish, you agree with all this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, we got to protect the ball too. I'm not the biggest fan of Purdy if you've got to put the game on his shoulders for him to go win it. So if we can take away everything we need to do, if Christian McCaffrey's out and maybe Flores can scheme out Kittle from the game and you make Purdy have to throw to Debo and Ayuk, we might actually win. We might actually win because Purdy doesn't have that NFL arm. He's not going to make those big throws. He's a game manager. He's kind of like Diet Kyler Murray. And, we got to put it on his shoulders.
You're right. If we do put it on Purdy's shoulders, he's probably not going to be able to beat us because that's exactly what we did last year. And he tried to do it. And that's when Bynum kind of had his coming out party. We had the 2 interceptions and the game stealing one. Like, he wasn't able to do it. What do you think about the keys of the game, Shaq?
I do. It's phenomenal. They touched on all parts of the game that if it goes according to plan, we should come out on top.
I agree. So, Ronaldo, give me something right here. I want you to answer this question. We will win this game if, and we will lose this game if.
They're the same thing. If we can't stop the run, we will lose this game. And we will win this game if we can stop the run. I think that's where it comes down to.
I think that's actually fair. Cody, do you think that we can learn something by the end of this game, whether we win or lose?
Yeah, so I have this is like the make or break for the season, in my opinion. Like, how well are we going to do throughout the year? So I made like this little chart about how much we lose by and how much we win by. So I think if we lose by 14 plus, we're looking at 5 wins. That's just where I'm at. All right. If we lose by 7 or plus, I'm looking at 7 wins. We lose by 3 plus, 9 or 10. I kind of feel comfortable with that. Majority on the 10 win side. That's a playoff team, right? We win or lose by 1. I'm looking at a 10 or 11 win team, right? Like, hey, we could be fighting for that 5th spot, right? We could be fighting for that 5th or that 4th spot. Win by 3, easy 12 wins. Win by 7, 12 or plus. If we win by 14, I know it's impossible, but if we win by 14, we're going undefeated.
Cody, I like this. What I like about this is not only like is your pep in your step back right now, but like if we end up beating the 49ers, you're all the way back in. Like, and I love that. It's like even if we lose by like less than a field goal, Cody's like, all right, it's all right. They're a good team, and like we're a playoff team. I like it.
And I feel like a redheaded stepchild right now.
I look at it as because if CMC isn't on the field, that's their best player, and they beat the really good Jets defense by how much they beat them by, and we keep it close. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna throw some money on some games here and see what happens. You know, I never bet on the Vikings. I might, we'll cover the spread here. You
can kiss my ass, man. Earlier, I'm like, man, if we just keep it close and we don't lose too much, I'm gonna find 2 more wins. And you're like, I ain't taking that. But Cody,
so well, look at me like that. But no, when I was saying to you, I was taking it like you were gonna wait till like week 7 or 8 to like make the change.
No,
maybe I misheard you. Say it again.
These two games right here that I feel like we're probably gonna get our asses whooped. These 2 games, I will adjust my win total.
Well, Emiliano, you didn't think we were going to win the Raiders preseason game, so I like where this is headed. Yeah, you make a hot take on here. You don't ever live it down, if I can remember it, because I haven't write it down.
I just got to keep the J.J. McCarthy jersey on, never wash it. I think we're going to be good.
All right, let's do predictions on this game. Start with you, Shaq. What's your prediction for this game? Result and score.
I'm going with Vikings win 24-21.
All right. Cody?
Vikings lose 31-20.
Where does that put you on your chart? Losing by 11.
We're 9 wins.
take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. What about you, Rinaldi?
I got us losing 34-20.
We were pretty optimistic with the keys of the game, and we just fucking shit the bed.
Well, I mean, it's not about being optimistic. The keys of the game, you just don't think they're gonna turn the keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're saying, this is the game plan, but I don't think they're gonna do it.
KOC, please stick to the goddamn game plan.
Beautiful fish.
Yes.
What's your prediction for this game?
The Vikings are going to lose 38-24.
Wow. 38-24. I am writing this one down. I'm taking the Vikings. And it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
It's going to be Vikings 16-13.
I hope it. Well, it doesn't matter if it rains.
that would make it extra.
Extra.
So I wanted to go back a little bit and actually talk about our division and the results of their games and where they're sitting at, and if you guys have any opinions on it. What we had was the Packers lost to the Eagles in Brazil, and they lost their starting quarterback, Jordan Love. Now, it doesn't sound like it's as serious as we thought it would have been at first. Sounds like he might miss 3 to 6 weeks. Probably come back the week we play them. Bears got a win despite very poor play from Caleb Williams. No offensive touchdowns, but they still beat the Titans and Will Levis, Mayo boy. The Lions beat the Rams in overtime. Cody, what's your thoughts right now on how this division's looking after 1 week?
When do we play the Bears? Later, right?
Yeah.
I hope the Bears defense looked really, really good. I hope Caleb Williams doesn't figure it out by the time we play them, because that means you got two sides of the ball playing very well if he figures it out. Packers, tough luck, right? Your run defense sucks. So we'll put Aaron Jones down your throat a couple times. I feel pretty confident of taking a game away from the Packers. I think I did that this year on the schedule predictions. The Lions, that overtime, it reminded me of us playing the Niners. Like, they just ran the ball, and that was all they had to do. That offensive line is really, really good. I hope Flores has something to scheme around that, sending linebackers around that offensive line. But I'm pretty confident. I thought we were going to be dead last. I have us 1 up. I think we might be one of the 3 teams that may make the playoffs.
Right, because you have that take that Bears, Lions, Packers make the playoffs and Vikings don't. So you can turn that around. And I do agree with you that we do take at least 1 from the Packers. And I think it's going to be that first game that we play them, because that's going to be like the Aaron Jones first revenge game, kind of like when Brett Favre played that game. There was nothing that was going to stop them from winning. I think Aaron Jones is going to go out there and have a monster game. What take do you have, Rinaldi, on the division after 1 week?
Well, I'm not sold on. I'm still not sold on Jordan Love. I think the guy has shown flashes. He came on late in the season with Aaron Jones behind him, and I think Aaron helped carry that team. Let's be realistic about where they were in the middle of that Philly game. At the end of that Philly game, he was 17 for 34. Yeah, he had 263 yards and 2 TDs, but I always thought we were going to take one of the two. And now that we have them at their place without him and no quarterback, I think we take both of the games. I'm not scared of him. I am not scared of him. I'm not going to change my number. I'm still at 9 and 8, but I will tell you that I don't think that changed the division that hard for us.
What about you, Shaq? What's your take from the division?
Pretty much is wide open, and I feel like we might get those extra games if Jordan Love doesn't come back fully healthy and has to, rehab while he's back on the field. Hopefully, Caleb Williams do struggle to, get it together, and the Bears kind of have an up and down season, and that just leave us in the Lions. And I think we could take the division from them because they don't look that good to me. They really don't.
Not look that good.
All right, Fish, put some water on this.
Okay, well, I just want to congratulate the Bears on following the yellow brick road to ruining yet another quarterback. So isn't it just Vikings luck that the starting quarterback of the Packers, we would see his knee literally displace and pop? Oh, it's just an MCL. He'll be back in a month or a month and a half. But I ain't impressed by him anyway. Shaq, I did not buy your Jordan Love for nothing. Now, as for the Lions, they beat a Chris Jones and Travis Kelce-less team by 1 point opening week last year, the Chiefs. And they didn't look good against the Rams. They're suspect. Y'all know I do not have faith in Campbell. I feel like he's close to imploding. And their window's going to close. And I think that they can be prone to start finding some losses. And once that vibe goes and Campbell starts getting frustrated and doing stupid shit, they could be really on the way down.
Wow.
Do I think that we're going to suddenly wait till after week 3, buddy? Wait till after week 3 and how we do against what I think are the 2 best teams that we're going to play this season, which is the Niners and the Texans. And then I'll tell you how I think we're going to fare playing against our division.
I don't know. I think the Lions were really good.
I think the Lions are good.
They didn't need to throw the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. They had Jameson Williams, and he broke out. So that's another wide receiver we have to worry about on the field. And for them to hand the ball off to David Montgomery the whole time in overtime and not use Jahmyr Gibbs, that was a power statement. Like, hey, here we are. This is us all the way down the field. Touchdown.
Right. And what I think is a lot of people said that this might be one of the toughest divisions in the NFL this year, but they didn't really include us in that. They thought it was going to be like the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions fighting for it. And I think we showed, no, we're going to have some kind of say in this. Like, we're going to fight for this division, especially when we play against each other, because these divisional games are always tough battles. And yeah, I think we're squarely in this thing. And you know me too. If we go get smacked on Sunday, I'll probably have a totally different thing and be talking top 10 pick. But as of right now, I feel like, no, we're in this thing and we're just as good as these other teams. I do think that the Lions have a little more talent on their roster than anybody else in the division. But to Fish's point, the coaching and all that kind of stuff, it matters. So maybe they have some blunders. Maybe they go for it on 4th down a lot and they're successful. And then when they should go for it on 4th down, they kick a 50-something yard field goal and lose the game. So I just wanted to see where you guys were, and we'll check on that every week to see where you're at in the division. There's only like 2 more things I want to do before we get out of here, and the one I want to do right now is hot takes. So let's jump into the hot takes. Hope you guys are ready for that. Fish, what do you got?
Minnesota Vikings will have 5 or more sacks this week against San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. So they'll either match or beat last week. That'd be pretty impressive. I think if the Vikings do that, they win the game. Not necessarily a hot take, but yeah. Shaq, what do you got?
At the end of week 2, the Vikings will be sole position of top team in the NFC North.
Whoa! It's a Lion loss.
It's a Lion L. Can't spell Lions without the L.
In all my years, I don't think I've ever heard that. Fact check, true. Cody, what's your hot take?
So I had us losing 31-20, right? So I'm going to make a hot take saying Sam Darnold comes out extremely hot, throws for 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Vikings win. Will Reichert field goal. Now, Sam Darnold leads the game winning. I said earlier that I don't believe Sam Darnold can win a game for us. I think he does win this game for us. And that's my hot take.
Well, you guys are all doing hot takes for this game, and mine wasn't for that. Maybe I should have thought about that. But Rinaldi, what's your hot take?
Tristan Jackson scores a touchdown against the 49ers.
Ooh,
wow.
That's a pretty good one.
It's a hot take.
Is he a free agent in our fantasy league?
I think he's a free agent in every fantasy league.
Yeah.
Hey, Shaq, the fact that the Lions are playing the Bucks this weekend, I like the cut of your jib, dude.
Would it be better if I told you I just came up with that on the spot? I don't even know
No,
what it was like.
you keep that in your hat. You keep that in your hat.
I mean, I didn't have a hot take for this game, so I'm going to stick with the one that I came with. And it's actually a hot take that I wanted to make the last 2 weeks. I just haven't got around to making a hot take the last 2 weeks for different circumstances. So my hot take is at some point this season, Jordan Addison will have a rushing touchdown.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
We haven't had one in a while, and there's somebody laughing about that. Let's see what he thinks.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It has to be a hot take.
I want y'all to see. Hold on, I'm currently in a nice Wisconsin hotel right now, and I would like for y'all to notice the artwork on the wall of corn. This is hotel artwork at its finest, y'all. This is very, 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 very upscale artwork. Oh, it's in threes, so like just be impressed by this.
Pretty Midwest.
This state is so goddamn weird, bro.
It's corn in the wall.
It's corn.
A corn in the wall.
Yeah, you should see our view. It's like it's just a roof.
So, Robbie, let me ask you a couple questions to get caught up on your thoughts of things that we've talked about. First of all, what's your impression about the first game against the Giants?
It's the Giants, and I stayed by that. Fish, I know you're not a fan of him, but I love Van Goblin. I love Van Goblin when we got him. I loved Van Goblin when he was in damn Wisconsin. I loved Van Goblin when he was at Miami. I was happy when we got Van Goblin, and Van Goblin balled out. I don't like that foot injuries. Foot injuries, they don't heal right. That's one of those injuries.
Davenport.
They just. I don't remember who it was, but there's somebody in the NBA that had a foot injury, and they never healed right. And damn it, I don't think it was Kevin Garnett. It was somebody though. But anyway, I just remember the foot. There's too many tendons down there, and those things don't ever freaking heal right. So that is a concern of mine with him. But when he had that pick six, that definitely made my weekend. It really did. Because I was at a bar and I started talking so much shit because the guy next to me was a Bears fan, and you just saw Caleb Williams doing nothing. And I lost my mind.
So you weren't impressed with the win because it was the Giants?
Nah, no. I'm just saying I managed my expectations because it was the Giants. I was very happy that we were actually up by more than fucking 2 points going into the fourth quarter with 30 seconds left in the goddamn game. That made me very happy. I was impressed with Sam Darnold. I was impressed with most of our wide receivers. I was impressed with our running back. I was impressed with the line. I have no complaints on our team at all. I don't. The ones minus the one that I'm not even going to discuss. But for the most part, I think we played really well against the Giants. I mean that. But like you said, I walked away. You didn't need to look at extra points. They were.
You're pretty happy about that, right? But I bet you're a little bit bummed that we didn't get to do like a 50-yard field goal attempt or something.
I was. I was happy about Turner. I was happy about her. But I was more happy about Van Ginkel than anything, honestly. I really was.
What about going into this 49ers game? How you feeling about that?
I have confidence, not hope. I'm going to be there, so I'm kind of biased. So, like I said, I'm a little biased because I had to pay to be there. And, I honestly think we're going to blow them the fuck out of the water. I do.
Really?
I do.
Some poor Make-A-Wish kid is about to get screwed.
Shut your go.
Oh, I bring it up every time, and I wasn't going to bring it up this time.
Man, they're bringing up the Make-A-Wish.
It was my turn in the rotation, Keith.
I was wondering why you were in the Wisconsin hotel. Now it makes sense. You did say you were going to the game.
Y'all should have seen it. That poor kid was limping out on the field, and it just looked so bad, man.
So what I want to do now, let's do a round to finish the statement. We haven't done this in a while, and there's only 3 of them. And I want to go around the horn with it. And the first one I'm going to ask you guys, Sam Darnold's stat line versus the 49ers will be what, Cody?
Like my hot take, I think it'll be no, we're not going hot take here. I want it to be 225 yards passing, 25 pass attempts, 2 touchdowns, for 1 interception in there.
I mean, so pretty much have the same game that he just had.
Just manage the game. Just manage the goddamn game.
All right, Shaq. Sam Darnold's stat line this week will be what?
310 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 interception.
He's gonna run one in. Also, 3 touchdowns. So maybe I need to take Sam Darnold on FanDuel this week. Fish. Sam Darnold's stat line will be what?
20 for 35 for about 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
2 TDs, 1 interception. You guys all are on that same board. Fish, you got some business to take care of, please.
Wow, Mike Reedy coming in way late. Wow, you're free to move about the cabin. Finally, I've had to pee for an hour and a half.
Rinaldi, Sam Darnold's stat line will be what?
I've got a lot like Fish's. I have 37 pass attempts, 21 receptions, 265 yards, 2 TDs, and an interception.
Wow, we're vibing.
What about you, Robbie? What do you think Sam Darnold's stat line is going to be?
I'm going to go a little weird. I'm going to say he goes 25 for 35, 320 yards. But I think we run the shit out of the ball this weekend. So I'm actually going to say 1 touchdown out of all those yards and no picks. Or I say we actually get in the goddamn red zone and our boy runs the shit in.
I'm actually not mad at that because that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's more like 250 yards, but I think it's 1 touchdown and no interceptions. I think he slow down, Sam. I think they actually do that. I think they run the ball a lot, and when they get close to the end zone, I think they're going to rely on the running game, and I think we're going to see Riker kick some field goals. It's going to be an ugly game. I had it 16-13, so I can't have him throwing too many touchdowns.
That's an ugly game for some of you. It's a beautiful game for somebody like me.
It depends how it happens, Fish. Like I said before, like if it's good defense that's causing that, then cool. If it's bad offense, that's causing it, it's not fun. Like the Raiders game.
No. I've got a hot take about him leading the league in points. I don't care about none of that other stuff. I just
but you thought the Raiders Vikings 3-0 game was just exhilarating to watch.
When Nick Mullins came in, yes.
Oh my gosh. That was one of the first games that I almost walked out of. Like, I was at home watching it, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and start the barbecue. Like, I can't watch this. But like I said, if it's good defense, that could be a fun game. If it's bad offense, it's not as fun. All right, next one, Michael Fish. The Vikings defense will blank.
Get their asses whooped. No. The Vikings defense will give up over 150 yards of rushing to the San Francisco 49ers.
I don't like that one. Cody, the Vikings defense will blank.
Intercept Brock Purdy twice.
Shaq.
They will sack Brock Purdy more than 4 times.
Ooh, that's big.
4+ sacks. What you got, Robbie?
Are we assuming in this hypothetical that Ginkel's starting or out?
He played today.
He practiced today, so he's playing.
I say we keep them under a total of 175 yards total.
175 total yards? Wow.
I really think we're going to kick their ass. I really, really do. I do.
I feel you have pressure on you to say that because Rinaldi likes to give credit that you said it last year. So now you're like, I just got to ride this thing this year too.
No, I'm going to the goddamn game, so I'm biased. That's all it is.
Well, yeah, but last time you went to a game and it didn't go too well. So for me, it's the Vikings defense will force 3 turnovers and we're going to win the turnover battle. Fish, finish this last one. People should tune into our post-game aftercare because blank.
Because we're the best damn podcast on the fucking internet.
Oh. Do we even need to say anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, let's go ahead and go around the horn and end this thing. This has been a great show. I'm happy. Rinaldi, what's your final words?
Yeah, man. Look, we have a game against one of the best teams in football this weekend. we have the opportunity to see where we really stand. I don't know how it's going to look. All these predictions are really about the game and where we're at in the game and how things run out. And all I want to do is see us be really competitive. I'm still holding hope for 2024 is going to be a year I want to get to McCarthy and next year. And if our core players play well in this game and we show up, I'll be pretty goddamn happy. That's my final take.
Shaq, what you got?
Make sure you guys subscribe and like us on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. You can follow us on Let's Go. Also check out on TikTok, Let's Go, where Keith is giving us constant content about Vikings content. And the reason you should check us out is because you get to learn a little bit more from Vikings fans instead of the national media, so you know more about the Vikings than the national media does. That's all I got.
All right, Robbie. You might have a little more than we did since you just jumped on, but what do you got for us? Final words.
I would like to see us win a division this year. I know it's more of a hot take, but I just think the Lions are too damn good. Hopefully we can jump over them. I think the Packers and the Bears are a little overrated. I just had to say that because that was something we covered a second ago. This Saturday, college football, there aren't any really good games on. The game that I'm going to, I expect a massive blowout, so I don't even consider that a thing. But Nick and Link will be there, so there will be some uncensored people in some of the games I'm going to, which I like, and hope to see them there.
Oh, that's cool, man. You're gonna be able to.
Because I bought tickets for them, and they're sitting next to me, so I really hope to see them there.
Oh man!
Did you say since USC is on a bye week, it's no good games?
You're right. I did say that. The Trojan fan that I am, that's where I was going with that.
How the hell they got a bye week on week 2 or 3?
You answered your own question just now.
Robbie, who's playing? Like, I don't know the college schedule.
Not really. Honestly,
no, but the game you're going to, what game is that?
No, you're playing the fucking Badgers. That's why I'm in Wisconsin right now.
Oh, Alabama and the Badgers. Yeah, maybe Nick.
Driving to Minnesota to watch the Vikings on Sunday.
I will say
sports weekend.
I will say Wisconsin do got a good offensive line.
I will say it won't fucking matter.
Well, I guess I'm gonna watch that game. What time is that game?
Well, 11 here, so noon.
9
well, for you 8.
9. 9 if it's 11. Yeah, maybe I won't watch it. Fish, final words?
All right, so in light of the revelations of this week, I just have a recommendation for y'all. Make sure if you have a pet, get it chipped. So that way, if some son of a bitch is going to eat it might bust the molar in half. And that will be your pet's last FU to the bastard who ate him.
We're going to do politics.
That was not politics. That was pet safety.
Make sure
so I think I've done a pretty good job of staying off Ronaldo's ear. So now you got about 10 minutes of me talking about Ronaldo's ear.
He's all ears.
Listen, let's have a good weekend. Let's have a good game. Let's get excited. Let's get excited for our Vikings until they give us a reason to not to, guys.
First quarter.
First drive.
when they return the kick to the 40, I'm like, fuck.
It's over.
I did it against the Colts and it almost was. All right, Cody, what's your final words?
Final words, Thursday. Friday's around the corner. Well, it's Friday now, right? Nope, close to Friday, half an hour away. Hey, be safe. All right, don't Jordan Addison yourself. Have a great weekend. Again, be safe. You need to get a ride home. Call an Uber. Call a taxi. Don't beat your dog. Don't beat your wife. Don't beat your kids. Always, let's go and let's hopefully beat the Niners.
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm happy. I'm happy for this game. I'm more confident than I thought I would be. I want to give a special shout out to Michael Fish, who's not feeling very well today. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was a great show. He put on a great performance. It was his Michael Jordan flu game. He freaking handled it. He's probably going to head straight to bed after this, but he hung in there the whole time, and I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you.
Everybody else, we will be back on Sunday right after the game, win or lose. It'll either be a celebration or it'll be an event session, but be there and jump on with us and talk to us. Let us know what you thought about the game. You hear about what we got to say all the time. We want to hear your opinion and your thoughts. So until Sunday.
From the stadium.
You better jump on, Robbie. Until then, let's Skol.
Let's go, baby.